Hey guys, today I'm gonna show you how to change the look of a table. I decided to change this old table because I didn't want to refinish it and stain it and all that. So I'm gonna apply leather vinyl sort of fabric on top, and while my table is disassembled with legs separately, I'm working on the top first. And this right here on the bottom is my fabric that I'll be attaching, and the tabletop is upside down. I'll be using the staple gun, and before I go ahead and do that, I'm gonna remeasure everything just to be sure my cover fabric will fit. But before I even do that, I think I need to remove this part right here, and I'm doing it the long way, the hard way, manual screwdriver, because my electric screwdriver decided to be out of battery, out of charge. So that's not helpful at all. So while it's charging, I thought I'm gonna do this myself and remove these 12 screws using the manual screwdriver. So I already did the other side, the shorter side, this side, and we're removing this white frame. This morning, I'm running on coffee and cake. Let's see this here. Trying to hold the phone and unscrew this one with one hand. Okay, all 12 screws are out, and here's an idea that I got. I actually should trace the white frame with a pen, so I'll know where to align my fabric, the edges, and this white frame will cover the staples. Let's do this end right here, and then here, like that. Could do this with a pencil too, but I don't care how this looks because it's gonna be the underside. Sorry about the bad, shaky video quality. There, like that. This will help me, once the white frame is off, this will help me see where I should end my fabric and staple it to. This doesn't have to be perfect, but this is rough. But the frame being on, still attached, it helps me draw these lines real quick. So now that the white frame is completely off, I'm gonna give this table another quick wipe down so there's nothing stuck here where the frame was attached. My pen marks are still here, that's why I chose to do this real quick with a pen instead of a pencil. So as I'm rubbing this with a rag, pencil marks do not come off. They will be my guide and they'll help me. And let's see. The mistake that I think I made is that at the fabric store, I got enough fabric to cover the tabletop and enough fabric to cover the legs. But what I didn't think of is this fabric for the tabletop would only cover the underside of the table, but would not cover the frame. So I just realized that once I got all the stuff home and I'm taking the stuff apart and thinking, okay, it's enough fabric but not enough to cover the white frame. How is this gonna look? So I'm gonna go ahead anyway with the fabric that I bought, which is this beautiful brown espresso chocolatey kind of color, brown, deep brown, and I will work with what I have. And I guess the frame, the white frame, will remain as is. I'll have to reattach it to this underside, but I'll need to work on it, changing its color later. I haven't figured out which color I'm gonna go with. First, I'm gonna see how the table turns out once I attach this leather on top. So let's see. Now that I stapled around the entire fabric along the perimeter of the table, this is the underside of the table, I'm removing excess fabric for along the edges of the frame. So the X-Acto knife didn't exactly work for this job, so I'm using the box cutter to have a clean cut. Since the legs are slightly tapered towards the bottom, I have to cut the fabric just so. So I placed one leg on paper and traced around it to get a more accurate measurement as it tapers down to see how I'm supposed to cut the fabric. So I pinned my paper, have 4 sides of the leg, and then I have the allowance for the seams. Okay, so one leg is done, and I am doing the other 3. So they are right in here, 1 and 2 and 3. This one is done. This is the inner side and this is the outer side. So the way I did this, obviously the inside is out, and I tightly gripped this around each leg and I pinned it. I pinned it as close to the edge of the leg as I could, obviously leaving allowance for the seams. There will be no seams on the bottom or on top, but still needed to leave this here so later that I can trim this and figure out how the ends will be. So here are my pins, and I'm gonna pull all 3 legs out of these sleeves, so to speak, and start sewing, just like I did this one already here. Now that I finished sewing all of the sleeves for all 4 of the legs, I'll zoom in a little bit here and show you that I went 3 rows of stitching back and forth because I knew I was not gonna be able to finish the seam edges. So once I turn them out, the edge will be folded over inside the sleeve for each leg. I'll show you what I mean. And yes, I trimmed the excess fabric. It's not perfect. It's like impossible to get it even, but I didn't want to cut too close to the seam because eventually with time it may separate. So that is why I did up and down 3 times. So 3 stitches. All right, and here are the legs, the right side out. The ends are not finished yet, but they will be. And this is like heather gray fabric, duck fabric, so it's pretty thick. I remember the lady cutting the fabric at the store telling me that she's surprised. She's never heard of anyone trying to buy fabric and reupholster the legs of a table in fabric. So I guess I'm the first one she's ever heard of to do such a thing. Just showing you the result. The legs look pretty uniformed, looking really, really good. The seams are very neat. I guess from afar they look like stainless steel in a way. And the thicker part right on top, the ends on top, obviously I left open because this is where the screws will go as I reattach the legs to the base of the table. No, not the base, but to the tabletop from underneath. So I'll figure this out and I'm gonna finish this off in a neat way. I'll show you the rest later. Now I have finished the legs completely. They are totally done. The edges are tucked in nice and evenly, and my staple gun helped me do that quite neatly. And these are the ends, the wider ends, and here are the bottom ends. So the bottom ends also stapled, and I will be getting the little plastic feet or felt feet to go underneath them. Here's the tabletop and here are the legs. Time to attach them. So here's the frame, and I'm gonna attach this to the table using the drill. Okay, ta-da! The legs are on. Let's flip this baby. And here it is. All right, the table is finished. And let me show you guys how this turned out. So it's dual tone. The top is dark brown, chocolate brown, espresso brown, whatever you want to call it, but it's dark brown. I think they called it vinyl at the store. To me, it's like leather. It feels like leather. It's soft, but not too soft. So that as I write, I do not puncture paper with my pen. And right underneath the table, the frame of it and the legs are in thick fabric, upholstery fabric, and this is how it turned out. So the legs were tapered. I worked with tapered legs, but that's no big deal. It was not hard at all. The thing is to measure it correctly, and everything is nice and neatly stapled. This thing here, don't pay attention. It's because it's the bracket. Like, it's no biggie. So the gray color is really like heather gray or two-tone gray. It has, how do I do this right here? It has lighter gray and darker gray in it. It's real nice. The last thing that needs to be done is the little feet, which I bought, and I'm gonna nail them right in at the bottom of the legs so the floors don't get scratched. Sorry about the sun. This is sunny side, so maybe you're not getting a good look at this. I tried closing the blinds. So let me attach the little feet and it'll be all done, 100% done. So I chose these for the bottoms of the legs because they have dark brown and dark gray in them. So that is why I thought it would match perfectly. All right, and I'm done setting this up, my workstation. So this will work for now. And the chair in the middle I'll be using is the ottoman, storage ottoman. It'll do for now until I find something great that looks good and fits me and fits this workspace. So that's it for now. Thank you.